Sup everyone, this is Draco of Arsenal versus Manchester United match preview. Yes, it is only around 24 hours away, but before I get started, just a bit of a disclaimer for those of you who are not aware. I have launched a second channel which will be mainly centered around gaming, including live streams, reviews, previews of games. So this channel was originally that, but obviously I've done a lot more United content and the gaming was kind of shunned aside. But I did launch a separate channel right now. It is down in the comments, pinned comments below. So if you like gaming, if you want to interact with me on a personal level, go to live streamings, etc, my Football Manager live streams, do go and subscribe there. But as always guys, I start these videos off with a comment from my previous topical video, which was the match review of Burnley, and the United man says Brandon Williams was amazing, especially the first half. I feel that Ole still favours Shaw at the moment though. If you don't know who the United man is, he's a good buddy of mine. Go and check his channel out. He's doing some fantastic content, and yeah, go and give him a subscribe as well. He does a lot of United content as well. But yes, he is absolutely right. Brandon Williams, personally for me, was my man of the match against Burnley. He was energetic. He had a matured performance. He was amazing. In regards to his second part of the comment where he says Ole still favours Shaw, I think he must favour Shaw because Shaw's more experienced. Brandon Williams is still learning, and I think over the course of the season we're going to see Brandon Williams more and more into games, especially when the games come thick and fast. I reckon over the next year or so, if Shaw does not step up, I think Brandon Williams will take over, and he's expected to take over eventually. Hopefully he bulks up a little bit. He's too skinny for my liking, but he's got a bit of a fight in him. But anyway, that's the comment. If you want your comments to be featured, do make a comment on this video and I'll pick it up on my next upload and discuss it and give you a bit of a shout out. But on to Manchester United, well, Arsenal versus Manchester United. This is my match preview. So I'm just going to open up the formation creator because I have that, I forgot to open up. But so this is my formation creator. I'll be doing the formation. This is going to be my predicted lineup for the match. Hope you guys can see it. Yep. Just enough. So this is going to be my predicted lineup for the match. Then we're going to go through some of the Ole's press conference, Ole Gunner Solskjaer's press conferences, the tables, some stats, and give my sort of prediction for the game. As you guys know, I reckon we are going to play a 4-2-3-1 because that's what we like to play all the time. In regards to goalkeeper, I think it's going to be, let me just bring the keyboard forward. Ooh, De Gea, standard. De Gea. Right back, I think Wan-Bissaka is going to come back, I reckon. Centre backs is pretty much nailed on. Maguire and Lindelof will be the centre back, in my opinion. Obviously, Tuanzebe is out injured, and it's going to be Shaw coming back. This is a strong centre back. This is our current first lineup. No injuries. Everyone's fresh. Everyone's had a bit of a break, especially the last few games ago. They had a bit of a break. They're going to come back fresh. Okay, midfield is going to be a bit more tougher. I reckon Pogba will be back, and we'll get to Pogba a little bit. He did miss the Burnley game. He will be partnered by, obviously McTominay is out. There is nothing much going on, but I reckon it's going to be Fred. Although I'm not sure how much Fred can keep up because he's been playing games non-stop. He's been one of the most informed players in the Premier League over the last few weeks, certainly. And I reckon he's got a bit of a spring on his step now, and maybe the adrenaline will drive him through, but we have no other choice regardless. It's going to be Pogba and Fred. It's simple as that. On the right side, I think it's going to be James coming back. And on the middle, I think it's going to be Lingard, as always, guys. You know how it works. Lingard hasn't scored or assisted in the Premier League, guys, over the course of this year so far, 2019. But he does have a good record against Arsenal, and probably Ole has been holding him back a little bit and saying, you know what, just go in there, you do well against Arsenal. He does get us a couple of goals or a couple of assists, and I think that's where he's going to play. Lingard. Forget the squad numbers, guys. I'm not going to do the squad numbers, so yeah. Left side is going to be clear as day. It's going to be Rashford, what form he's in, and up front is going to be Martial. Okay, this is going to be my lineup. Looking at this squad right now, it's actually a very good squad, and it's quite surprising that we are underachieving with this squad. Yes, you can say James is a bit of a suspect because he's new, he's coming from a championship player, but he has been performing really, really well. I was tempted to put Mason Greenwood in there, but I think Ollie's going to hold him back. We do need a striker. We would definitely need a striker coming off the bench if things go wayward, you can say. And Arsenal, I think the left back is going to have a horrendous time. They got loads of injuries at the back, and their current left back is not even a left back. So the pace of James going behind him all the time would keep him pinned back. That's what I feel. I think. But on to Pogba's situation. So Ole's going to come out. Ole Gunner Solskjaer has come out in the press conference and has said, this is what this says. Ole Gunner Solskjaer says let me just zoom a little bit. There we go. Ole Gunner Solskjaer says Paul Pogba wasn't ready to be included in Manchester United's squad for the trip to Burnley after a long absence through injury. The Frenchman came on as a second half substitute in defeat by Watford on 22nd December and the win over Newcastle on Boxing Day, but was left out of the squad completely for the 2-0 win over Burnley on Saturday. Solskjaer did confirm whether Pogba had an injury, instead saying he had a reaction during the game against Newcastle and didn't feel ready. So he's got this to say. He's been out for a very long time, and he didn't feel right. He reacted to that one against Newcastle, so we'll just have to take our time and get ready for the next time. He wasn't ready for today because he was not really done too many games, and he's had 2 in 3 days or whatever, 2 performances. So he just needed another day of recovery, probably. I agree with that. I mean, he just came back from injury, and with Arsenal being such a big game. And we had a good record against Burnley, and we won comfortably at the end, I think. To give Pogba a bit of a rest, so he's ready to come in for the Arsenal game. I think it's a good call. I don't completely buy it because we know Pogba wants to leave, and I think he is gonna leave because you look at Mina Royala coming out and saying things again like he must be Pogba wants to win the title against United, but he wants to play for a championship winning team, right? So this is what Mina Royal had to say. Paul has always respected Manchester United as long as Manchester United has respected Paul. The only one that talks for Manchester United and Paul is Ole. I go by what he says. He will not move. That's okay, and we are good with them. Okay, Paul is struggling a little bit with his injury, and that's our main interest now. There's one objective that Paul has, and that is to perform as well as possible with United. He's a top pro, and I think that his heart is in the right place with Manchester United. However, Raiola said about the future. Yes, I can, but in a club that I hope fights for the league and hopefully for the Champions League. Is that strange? Am I the only one that's worried? Is the owner not worried? I think that everybody that is in love with United is worried about that. I'm worried about that for my player, and I'm not a fan of United, but I have a very direct interest. As long as Paul is in Manchester United, he wants to win trophies with Manchester United. That's the kind of player he is, and he will not act differently. Like Ollie's saying, it's a work in progress now. He's this club. He says he's working on a team for next year. Let's hope that it goes well for him because the world needs United at the top. Clearly, they are not where they think they should be. It's true. He's absolutely right. I think few times Raiola came out and said over the last couple of weeks, like Manchester United is not an actual footballing club. They're more of a business club. He said the right things about Pogba there. Pogba respects Manchester United. He respects Manchester United. And Pogba is happy to stay as long as they're winning titles. United should be challenging for the titles for next season, at least for next year. When Ole talks about the project, I don't agree with that. We should be doing things now. Why are you holding back next year, Ole? I mean, why is it that next year will be the team ready? Why couldn't the team be ready this year to challenge, not for a title, but at least comfortably for a top 4? We are United. We are Manchester United. We should not be writing off the season when in December. That's what he done. Like, oh, we're building it for next year. What does that mentality tell you? It's just excuses, I reckon. And Raiola is right. We should be challenging for the top, and I hope to God next year whatever Ole does, he does well. I hope he makes good transfers. But this is not a transfer video. This is what the thing around Pogba. Pogba was also asked about striking options. He said that he's not worried. We always believed Martial and Marcus Rashford were going to score goals, but Mason has filled the big void. I'm not worried about goals from centre forwards. Me neither. I'm not worried about it. I think those 3 are great talents. But to play 3 recognized strikers, one of them is only 18, who just burst through over the course of 50, 60, 70 games a season. You look at certainly from today on to end of the season, you got 30 plus games. You're going to play 3 strikers. that's where United needed a fourth striker, and Haaland would have given a different sort of approach, a bit of fresh legs. I'm not sure what is happening with Angel Gomez or Tai Chong. They're not even on the bench. Their contract is running out. They are free to talk to other clubs. So we need reinforcements. Yes, the striking option is probably not a big worry, but certainly a midfield option is more of a worry. On to the Arsenal game. So this is the news. This was the news around Pogba and what he is doing and our striking options. Arsenal. So Arsenal in the last 6 games, they have won only one times, which is away to West Ham at 3-1. You can see they have lost. Well, they haven't even. They've got 1 point in the last 4 games. Bournemouth away, they got a point. Mikel Arteta's team, they've taken 1 point from a possible 6. I watched both the games. What they do have, what I've noticed in them is defensively they're more compact. They're a bit more fight in them. So Arteta has installed in them in that, but I think offensively they're not that great. But that will come over time. Arteta is a good coach, especially with the experience he had with obviously Pep. In our last 6 games, we won 5 of the 6, losing to Watford 2-0. But we're in a bit of a form. I can't remember the last time we won 3 Premier League games in a row. We are 2 Premier League games in a row now. To win against Arsenal is always nice because, I got a lot of Arsenal friends, you can say, and I'm not a huge fan of Arsenal. They are well over, let's look at the table. They are 12th. You can see Arsenal are 12 on 24 points. I got itchy nose. We are on 5th. So with a win, we will solidify the 5th place, assuming Spurs and Wolves drop points. If Arsenal were to lose, they can drop down to 15th, assuming Burnley, Brighton and Southampton win. So Arsenal have to win this game, otherwise they will drop down big time. This is our butter. This is Ole's bread and butter. The so-called top 6 we never struggle against. We are specialists with them against, and I reckon we will beat Arsenal. I reckon we're going to hit them fast on the counter-attack. I reckon hopefully Lingard gets a goal. I do want him to get a goal. As much as an average player I think he is, it's just not fair that he went through the whole year of 2019 with no goals or even assists in the Premier League. I think we are going to win 2-1. I think Arsenal are going to score. They've got a very good front line. Aubameyang and Lacazette alone can trouble any defenders in defense in the world. We haven't been. I can't remember the last time we kept a clean sheet. Obviously Burnley clean sheet in the Premier League, but before that I can't really remember. So we barely keep clean sheets, but I think we're gonna hit them on the counter attack. I don't think Arsenal will defend very, very deep. I don't think that's Arteta's philosophy, because being with City for so many years, they're always on the front foot. I think Arteta's going to install that in. They're at home and they need to win. Everybody knows they need to win because they're languishing at 12. But I reckon it's going to be a 2-1 to United. Hopefully a Lingard goal or an assist. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think the scoreline will be? And we'll have a bit of a discussion in my match review, which drops straight after the match tomorrow. As always, guys, stay fun and funny.